Hi, hello, welcome back. Today the pattern is this the Swiffer sweeper cover. It is relatively easy. The loop stitch is the hardest part. So hopefully you can manage that. I do show you how, but obviously my setup is not the best for the closest exam. But either way, grab some yarn, grab a hook that matches. Mine is a 4mm and I'm using scrap yarn made to the size of a worsted weight yarn. But this is a great project for that scrap yarn. I have one, this one is primarily made with cotton yarn. I have another one that's made with acrylic yarn. They're super easy to use. Just throw them in the washing machine when you're done. It's great. This is a great alternative to buying 1.5 bajillion pads if you're like me and you live in a dusty house. It's from all the yarn. The dust is from all the yarn. But let's get started. I have my Swiffer here for reference. I'm going to be using a pretty thin yarn because it is cotton, which I do recommend. But making a Swiffer cover out of yarn this thin would take forever. So I'm going to do this fun trick where you triple it to turn it into chunky yarn. But now that I have my yarn, which is about as thick as worsted weight, I have a 4mm hook. We're going to start by chaining 61. It's fun. 2, 3. And 61. So while you have the chain, what you're going to want is to make sure that while it's loose, you're not going to pull it tight, that you could reasonably drop it over and put it where those little latches are. If it's like really short on one side, just add more chains and a little bit of overhang, more than like if it was, again, you're not going to pull it tight when you measure, but if it wasn't pulled tight and it was really big, it's fine. Bigger is fine. Not necessarily better, but definitely not worse. So for round 1, we are going to just turn, and starting from the second chain on our hook, single crochet across. I know, it's super boring. But this pattern is pretty easy, pretty mindless. A great way to use up some yarn. The first one I made is made out of acrylic yarn. It works just as wonderfully. And it's a great way to use up any weird yarns. I think I just said that. It's a great way to do that, or bring reusables into your life and replace the disposable Swiffer pads, because these, you just throw them in the wash, same as any washing instructions that's on the yarn, which is why I would encourage like cotton or acrylic, because most of those are machine washable and dryable. And just a reminder, if you want the written pattern, you can go to mudsyarn.com or click the link in the description to get access to that. This one is a free pattern. But there are many others on the website as well. Didn't realize how bad the shadows had gotten. My apologies. Okay, so as we are ending round 1, we are going to chain 1, turn, single crochet 10, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we are going to, we are going to do a loop stitch for 40 stitches. And then I just realized it's missing on my notes. And then the last 10 stitches are going to be single crochet. Now, if you're like me and you would rather not count to 40, well, that's the same color as my yarn. That's not helpful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pattern, my work in progress, count 10 from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'll put this here, so that means that'll be the start of my end single crochets. So we're going to do a loop stitch. So what we're going to do, stick our hook in. I like to, this gets easier when it's bigger, but pull some extra down with my thumb. So you can see this loop here. Yarn over, pull through, and pull underneath that thread. Let's see if I can get a good angle on it. So we're gonna get some extra. Stick our hook in, get some extra. Grab and pull under both. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on hook. So you're basically doing a single crochet with some extra little wobbly there. So again, I'm going to insert my hook, pull it down. And this is, if you're familiar with knitting, I've been told this looks a lot like knitting. But I have not yet learned to knit. So again, we're going to stick our hook in, grab some extra, pull it through both and over top. And we are going to keep doing that all the way down. Where our yarn behaves, because it's nice and it wants to be used. We are going to keep doing this loop stitch all the way down. And when you go on to the next one, make sure that that loop that you just made is safely tucked away. Again, this is harder the first handful of rows because there's less fabric to grab with your fingers. You just got that single crochet row. This does end up using up a lot of yarn. So definitely choose wisely, or if you're like me and going with scraps, just know that you'll have a good handful to tie together. Your loops don't have to be even by any means, because this is what will go floor side down to help pick up that dust and replace the fuzzy side of the Swiffer disposable pads. Oh, perfect. So then in these last 10, my marker here, we're just going to single crochet. And these will be the bits that fold up on the sides. And since they're just folded up on the sides out of the way, they don't need ruffles. It's giving Chinese New Year dancing dragon thing. I love those. They're so pretty, and those dancers are so skilled. All right. So that's row 2. We've done our loop stitches. So we are going to chain 1, turn, and because this is the back side of the pad, just single crochet across. Nice and simple. Give your hands a little break. Well, your thumbs maybe. This is definitely a project where you should do your stretches. Take care of your hands. And when you get to working in the loops, just try to make sure that you hold them down. Oops, I didn't realize my hands were slowly moving away. You're going to want to hold the loops down just so that you don't pick them up and you're only working with that top of the stitch. All right, and that's the end of round 3. So for the rest of our sweeper, we are going to continue repeating rounds 2 and 3 for 10 sets, or about 20 rows total. You're going to want your full project to measure about 5.5 inches tall, and that will get your Swiffer. Now, since we have a couple of rows, it's a good time to double check that it will fit. So you can pop that top one in on this side. Be a little bit more careful so it doesn't pull our stitches out on the working side. And then you can see that it's got its loops under here and will be a very, very good little dusty head. Again, this one's just recommended for the dusters. I haven't tried it as a mop by any means, but you probably could. So I recommend testing it, making sure it will fit in both nubbins once you have the little bit of rows. Just in case you're one of those people who chain really tight or really loose and then crochet the opposite way. But it fits, it looks good. So again, I'm going to keep repeating my loop and single crochet rows for 10 sets, or what would be 20 rows. So this next one is a bunch of loops. So I'm going to keep working on that. And so this video isn't ungodly long. I'll just see you at the end. And we'll talk about what it looks like when it's done. All right. See you then. All right. So I have my main body and my sweepies. As you can see, it is long enough. Covers the top and bottom there. So the next step that we are going to do, actually I hadn't finished this row, my goodness. So as we finish our very last row of single crochets, what we are going to do is sew up little pockets to put on the sides. Okay, so we are going to count 20 inward. Let me grab my marker again. Of course, it's the similar color. Go figure. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Why did I do that? I don't need a marker. What we're going to do then is line those up, and we're going to insert our hook in the next stitch in our row, and then in that 20th one as well. And then we are going to single crochet across these 10 stitches. So again, we'll do in the one that would be like the next stitch normally, and in the one across, creating this little pocket. And when we get to the end, I'm just going to chain 2 and cut the yarn to finish off, and then I will weave it back in through that top. Honestly, later, because I'm running late for something, because doing this took longer than I planned. Anyway, we're going to just slip stitch loop on our hook. And then same deal, we're going to come back down to the bottom and count 10 or 20 stitches in. 1, 2. Well, actually, we can put our hook in this first one if we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Oh my lord, I don't know how shapes work. My brain is apparently fried. So we're going to count 20 in. And then you're going to just line it up. And remember, if you're right-handed, how crochet works. But you're essentially going to match up stitch 1 and stitch 20, stitch 2 and 19, and then single crochet across. Again, written patterns are on my website as well. And today, having that open next to me might be more coherent. But then you'll have 10 stitches across. Good gracious. And a chain 2 and cut. And then we'll complete the same on the other side. And because I'm using scrap yarn, the bottom stitches are a little bit tighter than the top ones, but it's fine. Okay, excuse me. Loop on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, and 20. Line those up. Now I crochet from right to left. And then again, match them up and single crochet across. Here was last time. Oh, goodness gracious. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, nice. It's close in my guess. But we are lining it up and stitching it closed. I'm sorry if my hands keep coming out of focus. Okay. Now we have our pockets. So when you go to put this on your Swiffer, you'll be able to just slide one end in and then stretch it a little bit to fold it over the other end. And there you go. And now it's nice and secure. You can also not sew up the sides and then just poke it into the little grippies. Eventually those grippies tend to go kind of wonky, especially with a little bit of a thicker reusable Swiffer on there. So I think this works best. The reason I have you size it to the grippies is to make sure enough of it hangs over the edge for a secure sweeper. But there you are. Just machine wash according to your yarn's instructions. I usually end up just doing mine on cold and tumble dry low, but otherwise, there you are. One scrap yarn reusable handy dandy Swiffer sweeper cover, or any push broom thingy. I know there's probably similar other brands. But there you are. I hope you enjoyed. I know this pattern was a little bit more hectic and a little bit different than ones I usually do, but subscribe for more. Feel free to comment any requests you'd like me to figure out. I'm working on a good handful. Visit mudsyarn.com for more written free patterns and find me on Ribbler for a couple of paid ones. Otherwise, if you make your own, tag me in it. I'm at mudsyarn on most socials. But thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'm off to rush to everything else I need to do. Bye!